I like the way it looks from the front because it has this slightly aggressive touch.
This car with all those features, it's still like a smartphone with games, with apps on it.
Ich glaube, es ist die Verantwortung gegenüber unseren Kindern und deswegen fahre ich elektrisch mit Begeisterung.
We would never switch to petrol again because I think this is the answer that we should follow everywhere.
Und freue mich gigantisch auf das neue Model 3.
I don't see it as a replacement for this car. I think the Model 3 will be more a day-to-day use car that we'll use for shopping and going to the stores.
It's a much more fitting car for our region. We don't have streets that big and parking lots that big.
Nein! Geil!
So, lol.
You're going to drive it. Me? Yes.
Oh, Lord!
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God!
Wow!
Oh, that's much better than just looking at photos. Oh, it's so fluent. Oh, I like it. That's cool.
Lovely.
It is.
Oh, it's great.
Nice. Well, it's a beastie kind of car, you know? It's a fun car, it's a sportive car.
It feels good. It still feels like a Tesla.
I think I see now why some other manufacturers are afraid of this car coming to Europe.
It's some sort of a pioneer work with electric cars. I love it.
I wouldn't expect it to have so much space for me as a tall person.
It's just great. It's a fantastic car.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Fremont, California. We're out here at the test track of our Fremont factory, just a few meters away from where we actually build all of our Tesla vehicles. We're super excited to have you all here. In fact, almost 9 years ago, on June 22nd, 2012, we had our first Model S delivery event right over there in the factory. So we've come a long way in a few years. We set out to design, engineer, and manufacture the best car in the planet, and we've been working tirelessly every day to try to make that happen. And tonight, we're going to show you the next best version of Model S. And I brought this along because we might be breaking a few records. But more about that later. So let's get Elon out here and have him show you how we made the best car in the world.
The Model S. This is an ambitious goal to create a whole new kind of car. A lot of Wall Street is betting Tesla can't get it done.
All right. Thanks for coming and thanks for tuning in. So, as Franz was saying, this is 9 years since we delivered the first Model S, the first car produced here in Fremont. So almost a decade. And I think we're really taken it to a whole new level with Plaid. Some of you may know that, I mean, basically our product plan is stolen from Spaceballs. So we've gone Plaid speed. So what we really wanted to achieve here is like, well, why make this really fast car that's crazy fast and everything? And I think there is something that's quite important to the future of sustainable energy, which is that we got to show that an electric car is the best car, hands down. So it's got to be clear. It's like, man, this is sustainable energy cars. It can be the fastest cars, can be the safest cars, can be the most kick-ass cars in every way. And that's why we did the Plaid. It's just to show hands down, this is the way to go. So, yes. Pressing slide. There we go. All right. So, we've made huge improvements from the original car. Well, actually, who here, has anyone here, probably some have, bought the early Model S, like the, yeah. All right. Well, thank you for your support. You can see the huge improvements we've made. So, and it started off with good performance, but now with Plaid, we've managed to break the 2-second barrier, if you will. No production car has ever done 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. And this is a 4-door car, seats 5 adults, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, this thing's moving. I mean, this is like what I call like limit of physics engineering. It's not relative engineering. It's like, what does physics say we can do? Because physics is the law and everything else is a recommendation. So, in addition to a crazy performance, it's also got a longer range. Even with the tri-motor high performance, it's got almost a 400-mile range. And in the dual motor configuration, it's got a 412-mile range. So, 420, give or take. So, that joke will never end. So, and we've also improved the supercharging speed, so you can get 187 miles of range in 15 minutes. So, yeah, so quickest production car, to be clear, of any kind ever made, like I said, first to ever break the 2-second barrier. Later tonight, you'll get a chance to drive around the track, and like this is really something you have to feel to believe. Because it hits you right in the limbic system. It's like, damn, like, whoa. Yeah. It is basically, what is the car that we can, how can we make a spaceship a car, So, hello. Let's see. Yep. And then in terms of additional stats, it's also the fastest production car to complete a quarter mile, so 9.23 seconds. It's got a 200-mile-an-hour top speed, over 1,000 horsepower, almost 400-mile range. Like I said, charges so fast, it'll be probably done by the time you have a coffee, basically. And talking about some of the sort of details behind it. So we have an all-new battery pack, and then something we're really proud of is the new carbon-sleeved rotors for the motor. So this is the first time that there's, to the best of our knowledge, there's been a production electric motor that has a carbon overwrapped rotor. So this is a super hard thing to do because carbon and copper have, at very different rates of thermal expansion. So in order to do a carbon overwrapped rotor, you've got to wind it at extremely high tension. It's a very hard thing to do. We actually had to design the machine that makes the rotor. So no such machine existed before. It also means we can have the electromagnetic field be super efficient and have a tight gap even at super high RPM. And it's single speed from 0 to 200 miles an hour. So it's just, the RPM is so crazy that just the centrifugal force wants to expand the rotor. So the carbon overwrap actually holds the rotor, basically holds the rotor together. It's like madness. So, yeah. So let's see. In fact, we're going to show you the motor. In fact, you might have had a chance to see the drive unit. And we can go closer. I mean, this is really an amazing work of engineering. Yeah. There's just never been an electric motor like this. I mean, you could pick this motor up with your hands, and it can accelerate a 2-ton car to 60 miles an hour in 2 seconds. I mean, that kind of power to weight is insane. Yeah. So it goes, it goes up to 20,000 RPM and maybe a little more. So we also were able to achieve the lowest drag coefficient of any car ever made. So, yeah. So really, I think Tesla engineering has outdone itself here. This is a car that looks good, but also gets an incredible drag coefficient. And this is the true drag coefficient of the car, including with wheels in motion. Sometimes you'll hear drag coefficients quoted, but that'll be without the wheels moving. And the wheels cause sort of error churn and incremental drag. And this is the actual drag coefficient of the car. So it's to have a good-looking sports car, have that lower drag coefficient is really tough. So we also have the latest and greatest in heat pump, which is basically the HVAC system for the car. It's 30% better cold weather range and requires 50% less energy for cabin heating in freezing conditions. Yeah, so you'll see very little degradation in cold weather. And the radiator is twice as big for heat rejection. So you'll be able to actually do back-to-back 0 to 60s, go on the track, just haul ass, and as you'll see tonight, this car is just going to do over and over again, and it doesn't get winded. I think we got to take this back to maybe the Nürburgring. See what happens. And then, of course, when we first delivered the Model S, there were no superchargers anywhere in the world. So back in 2012, no superchargers anywhere. Now there are 25,000 superchargers all around the world. So, we opened 30 just in the last week. And we're just going to keep going so that you can basically travel anywhere you want with peace of mind, super easy. Keep increasing the power of the superchargers. We're 250 kilowatts, so obviously that we'll start going to 280, 300, 350. Yeah. So. And then it's also engineered for maximum safety as well. So, in fact, this is designed to be our aspiration for this car. It still has to be tested by the US government, but we think we can get the lowest probability of injury of any car ever tested. So, in fact, these are the actual NHTSA probability of injuries numbers. All top 5 cars with the lowest probability of injuries ever tested, all 5 are Teslas. So I mean, with the Plaid Model S, what you have is a car that is faster than quicker than any sports car, and like faster than any Porsche, safer than any Volvo in the same car. That's insane. It's like you know, yeah. So, and then the design, we've obviously made a lot of refinements to the exterior, and then we've completely redone the interior. So I think once you drive the new Model S, it really feels like you're driving the future. And other cars are going to, especially like non-Tesla cars, are going to feel very last century. So, all new interior. As you can see, we changed the orientation of the main screen, so it's easier to watch movies and that kind of thing in landscape. Yeah, exactly. I mean, in other notes, we have ventilated front seats. So, yeah. Anyway, I think it's really, you drive around and it really feels like, okay, we're in 2021. Great. We have this yoke steering wheel, which is a little different, but I think once you try it, you'll think it's great. The visibility of the main screen is super clear, especially for autopilot. So you can see the entire panoramic view you can basically see the mind's eye of the car. Yeah, it's really cool. So. And then we've gotten rid of the stalks. So, I think generally all input is error. So we want, if you have to do something that the car could have done already, that should be taken care of. The software should just do it. So you can actually just literally walk up to the car, it senses that you're approaching, unlocks the car based on your phone. It just basically pairs with your phone, knows that you're coming to the car, opens the door, extends the handle, you sit down, and you just drive. You don't have to press the drive or anything like that. The car knows you want to drive. It figures like, yeah, good guess, you know. So, and then it's using the autopilot system to know where the obstacles are. So obviously, if there's something in front of you, you want to go backwards, and if there's something in back of you, you want to go front, most likely. And then it will adapt to your to your needs. So if it sees that you're always doing this, you're changing to reverse or forward in particular situations, it'll try to remember that and geocode it to that location. So then you won't have to do it in the future. It will just keep minimizing the amount of input that you need to do until the car just reads your mind. So it's gonna be great. Yeah. So we've redesigned the interior. We moved the interior so that the front IP is actually slimmer and thinner. So we were able to move the front seats forward, giving more room to the back seat, and we reclined the back seat more and reduced the interior trim. So basically, the current Model S, the back seat is not amazing, but the new one, it's actually a legit back seat. I'd say, it's like it's good. So you can. I think it's quite a comfortable back seat, and you've got also a rear screen, and you can control everything from the back. Yeah. So it's got dual inductive chargers for your phones in the back and dual inductive in the front. And it's a 36-watt power supply, so you can actually charge like your laptop or anything. Basically, it's a 36-watt USB-C. Yeah. It can also pair with multiple Bluetooth devices simultaneously. So multiple people could be controlling music, or somebody could be playing a video game. So you can do multiple wireless things simultaneously. And then, similar to the Model 3 and Y, instead of having air vents, we use intersecting columns of air. So, and we just vary the speed of the air. So you don't have to. There's no vents that you can see. and you can just touch the screen and move the screen around, and it'll just move the air wherever you want it. And the air is much more diffuse. It just feels like an invisible air conditioning system. It's great. So, and it's a tri-zone, so there's a zone for the rear, and a front and left front, right front zone. So. And then the 17-inch touchscreen it feels like a movie theater. The sound is incredible. Yeah, so you can really, it's like a home theater experience. So if you're sitting somewhere waiting, or for whatever reason, or at a supercharger, you can just catch up on what your favorite Netflix show, or iTunes, or whatever the case may be, YouTube. And of course, you can also play video games. So, and the same thing for the rear. So you can, rear, it basically, the system feeds all 3 screens, and so you can do things the front, rear. It's great. We have an all-new sound system designed by Tesla Audio, and we have acoustic glass throughout the car, so the car is very quiet when going down the highway. Even at very high speeds, like you're doing 100 miles an hour, it's still quiet. And this is a Tesla-designed codec, so it will keep uploading improved versions of the sound system. It's completely software-defined, so we'll keep tweaking it and dynamically adjusting to whether you're using streaming, or whether it's coming via Bluetooth from your phone, or different streaming services. It'll actually, and if the data rate changes, it'll adapt that. So basically, it always sounds good. And that's just going to get better. So, yeah. And then we've got an all-new UI. Really want waypoints. Okay, does everybody here want waypoints? All right, fine, we'll do waypoints. God damn it. All right. 2 weeks. All right, we'll do waypoints, fine. But obviously, it also interfaces with your calendar. So if you just, basically, if you just get in the car, and you just sort of swipe down from Navigate. You don't have to enter anything, just swipe down. The car will automatically figure out if you want to go to home, work, or what's on your calendar. So it'll default to calendar priority, and obviously if you're at home and it's kind of a weekday or whatever, it assumes you're going to go to work. So you just swipe down, it automatically navigates to work, and checks traffic and gives you an optimal route. So it's just like a nice little easy thing. And you can actually set it to automatically generate the most probable route. So you just get in, and it's going to guess what route you want, and you don't have to press anything. Yeah. So anyway, the UI is basically easy to move around, expand, contract, shift music to the left, to the right, and we're going to keep improving it. So it basically feels like a modern tablet or phone. And then it's not PS4, it's PS5. So I think there's never been a car that has state-of-the-art computing technology, state-of-the-art infotainment, where this is literally at the level of a PlayStation 5. So, yeah, I mean, if you think about the future where the car is often in autopilot or full self-driving mode, then entertainment is going to become increasingly important. So you're going to want to watch movies, play games, use the internet, just all the things you want to do if you're not driving. And this is actual PlayStation 5 level performance. So we're going to try to do a gaming demo. Yes. It can play Cyberpunk. So this is somebody playing the car right now. This is so playing live. Yeah. So it's like pretty great, So have fun in the game. It's gonna be great. So, all right. So high frame rate will do 60 frames a second with state-of-the-art games. Yeah. All right, so we got incredible performance, interior of the future. I think engineering that's practically alien. So, like I said, simultaneously the safest car in the world and the fastest. This is insane. So, we also got look at some things like the power curve. So, I think this really illustrates the difference. It maintains 1,000 horsepower all the way up to 200 miles an hour. This car crushes. All right. So, yes. All right, and deliveries begin now. So we're in production. We're going to deliver the first 25 cars now, and then basically should be at several hundred cars per week soon, and 1,000 cars a week probably next quarter. So please enjoy. We put a lot of work into this. I'd like to thank the incredible work of the Tesla engineering and production teams. My hat is off to Tesla engineering, production, design, the whole group. They put their heart and soul into this. So hope you enjoy it. So let's deliver some cars. All right.
Great outfit. Hey. Yes. Yeah. Well, everyone, welcome to the Tesla Design Studio, where we've held many product unveilings before. Hope you guys will all have a really great time tonight. I think I've never seen so many cameras in my entire life. This is cameras everywhere. So we're going to start off by just talking a bit about how did we get here. You know, what are the things that have led to this day? What are the cars like? How did Tesla start out? How did we, you know, where were we 10, 11 years ago? What has happened over that intervening time? You know, because it occurred to me that a lot of people, they only heard about Tesla maybe a year or two ago, and you know, electric cars are kind of like taken for granted. But there was a time when electric cars seemed very stupid, and it wasn't that long ago. And the idea of creating a car company was stupid, of course, and then making an electric car company was like stupidity squared. And so let's take a look at the first car we ever made, the Tesla Roadster. Yeah. All right. It's a bit small. It's great. It's great. So the crazy thing is, if you go back 11 years today, Tesla had made one car, that car. That's serial number 1 of Tesla. So that's my car, actually. So on February 2008, we'd literally only made one car, that car. And it didn't really work very well, I have to say. It broke down a lot. And it took us another 3 months just to make the second car. And now we've made about 550,000 cars. Yeah. So, and after the Roadster, essentially what happened with the Roadster is we said, okay, we want to make a car, we want to really break the mold about how do people think about electric cars. Do they think about electric cars as being slow and ugly and poor performance? So we want to have a sports car, you know, a car that is fast, looks good, sexy. That's right. Ha ha. You took the words out of my mouth. So exactly. Sexier. That's right. So the Roadster, the reason we did sports cars, we wanted to create a car that would break the mold for electric vehicles, and that would be sexy and fast and long range, and that's why we did the Roadster. People say that, well, you won't be able to make a car with those specifications, and if you do, nobody will buy it. So we had to prove those two things wrong. And then after we made the Roadster, they said, okay, sure, you can make some toy sports car, but you can't make a sedan. You can't. There's no way you could compete with the luxury sedans that are gasoline, because they're the best. And there's no way you could make an electric car that's like that. So we did. Model S. Exactly. So noisy. Where are all the fumes? Where's the exhaust pipe? Where do you put the gasoline? Yeah. So we actually started designing that car in the Rocket Factory. So we didn't have a design studio. But we took a little corner of the Rocket Factory, and Franz joined. And we just with a tiny crew in a corner of the rocket factory, we designed that car. I think that car was really important because it was competing against the best of the gasoline cars. So if you can make an electric car that can beat the best of the gasoline cars, it's a very powerful statement to prove that you can go electric. So then, working from the Model S, which, by the way, in terms of where the name comes from, actually, I like calling things what they are. So Roadster is called Roadster because it's a roadster. There is no good word for sedan. So we couldn't call it the sedan. It wouldn't work. Or saloon. There's just like literally no word. So the Model S stands for sedan. And this is how out of touch I was. I actually didn't realize at the time that Model S also means models. and then I had like at one point a license plate that said Model S2 because it was like the second production Model S. And it was like, and as I was walking away from my car, I said, "Wow, what a jerk! His license plate says Models 2." Yeah, I'm like, okay, better not have that license plate. So, but then going from the Model S, we said, okay, we want to make the best SUV in the world. We want to do something. We kind of got carried away actually with the Model X. We was like, let's have practically every technology and whiz-bang thing we could possibly think of. The Model X is like, as a car, it's like a Fabergé egg meets a spaceship. It's like, it was insanely difficult, but it is an amazing vehicle. Let's bring it out. Cool. Yeah. You can see a certain position forming, maybe. So, the Model X, like I said, it really feels like a Fabergé egg spaceship, it's X for crossover SUV. But then after we had the Model S and Model X, I thought it'd be pretty funny if we had the Model E. But then like Ford threatened to sue us. Ford killed sex. But I said, what if we call it the Model 3? Because that's completely different from me. They said, that's fine. So we have the Model 3. Let's bring out the Model 3. That's right, exactly. Exactly, Smart Summon with a person. So we made the original Roadster, the Model S, the Model X, the Model 3, and then we also then made the new generation Roadster, which we'll bring in. Sweet. Hey, sure. Yeah, my man! So, yeah, here we have the original Roadster, the new Roadster. Yeah. And then, hey, how's it going? And then the Semi. Actually, the Tesla Semi drove here nonstop all the way from the Bay Area. So that Tesla Semi, a 500-mile range electric semi. I learned to actually, only after naming the thing, that semi has two meanings. It's semi-sexy. So, yeah, so we're really excited about bringing those products to market. So that's sort of talking about our products. But then the factories are as much the product, if not more, than the vehicles themselves. In fact, I really think like the difficulty and value of manufacturing is underappreciated. It's insanely difficult. It's like relatively easy to make a prototype and extremely difficult to mass manufacture that prototype or to mass manufacture a vehicle reliably and at scale. I mean, even for rockets, I'd say it's probably a factor of 10 harder to design the manufacturing system for a rocket than to design the rocket. And for cars, I'd say it's maybe 100 times harder to design the manufacturing system than to design the vehicle itself. That's what the Fremont. I don't mean to have it in black and white. It's like it's not so long ago. They didn't even have color cameras back then. It was 2010. But it was very bleak. It's like essentially when we acquired the Fremont factory, which used to be called NUMMI, people sort of thought, oh, you've got a car factory. Now, if you have a car, they sort of think if you have a car factory, you can just make any car. It's like, no, that's like saying you've got a box. And that box can have anything you want in it. No, only if you make the thing in the box. Although we did get we had get a very good deal on the NUMMI factory, Toyota and General Motors actually took all of the good equipment out, and anything that was like so useless it wasn't even worth the scrap was left. So it literally looked like that, but in color. And it took an enormous amount of effort by a very talented team to actually turn essentially what looked like a derelict warehouse into a working car factory. Yeah. So, and in fact, like today, the Fremont factory, which is an enormous building, I think it's like the second or third biggest building in the world by footprint, is so dense, so densely packed with people and robots. But this picture has like robots, but there's 20,000 people that work at the Fremont factory across 4 or 5 shifts. So it's really a massive amount of people and robots. So it's like this giant cybernetic collective. So that was way harder than making the car, by far. I mean, it's worth noting, like the last time, at least in the U.S., the last time any car company achieved mass manufacturing was about 100 years ago. That is the last time, and then Tesla. It's literally that crazy. So, the issue is definitely not coming up with a car design. It is absolutely all about building the production system. You want to have a good product to build, but that's basically the easy part. Then the factory is the hard part. Then the challenge is like, okay, if we create a car factory, where the heck are the batteries and electric motors and power electronics going to come from? And that's where we need to say, okay, we better build something that's capable of 50 gigawatt hours at least of cell output, which at the time when we proposed the Gigafactory, I believe like total global output of lithium-ion batteries for all purposes, phones, laptops, certainly cars, anything, was about 30 gigawatt hours. So we're like, okay, well, just do the basic math. We need 50 gigawatt hours. So we better have a real big factory, or there's no way. So, we were going to build it in California, but like it would have taken 2 years just to get the permits. So we built the Gigafactory in the amount of time it would have taken to get the permits in California. That's what the Gigafactory looked like in 2010. It was basically rocks and bushes, okay? And now this is what it looks like now. Yeah. So, and it's only about a third complete. So this one complete, I think it's about 4 or 5 times the size of the Pentagon. So it's kind of difficult to appreciate scale, but although it's really quite tall, it's like 70 feet tall. So the volume of it is just mind-blowing. It takes 2 hours just to walk around it. So, again, it's work of a tremendously talented team working like crazy, like tens of thousands of people to produce this factory. And today it produces more lithium-ion than the rest of the world combined. So. Now we're also building a factory in China, which I'm really excited about. As you can see, it's very impressive. Very impressive. A large puddle. So when I was there in January, that's what it looked like when we did the groundbreaking ceremony, and this is what it looks like now, 3 months later. But this is what it will look like at the end of the year. So things are moving fast, and this will actually be, once it's complete, the equivalent of our Fremont car factory plus our Nevada battery gigafactory combined. Yeah, so it's integrating the two, which kind of makes sense. So we're really excited about this. We're a great team in China, and this is going to be really important for making affordable versions of the Model 3 and Model Y for the greater China market. And then, besides cars, we have some other things. So, the Solar Roof and Powerwall. This is definitely going to be the year of the Solar Roof and Powerwall. Because of extreme challenges with the Model 3 production, we have to basically allocate all resources to Model 3 production because otherwise we're going to die. And so basically, it was pretty tight, I have to say. That was a hard one. I would say like 2018 was probably felt like aging 5 years in one. Honestly, it was really intense. So, thank you for supporting Tesla through this difficult period. Thank you. Yeah. But now that Model 3 production is going pretty well, we're going to finally allocate engineering attention to the solar roof as well as the solar retrofit. I'm pretty excited about both the solar tile roof and the solar retrofit and Powerwall. Part of the reason we couldn't make Powerwall is we couldn't make enough cells. So we had to either allocate cells to the car or to the Powerwall. And I was like, well, we've got to make the cars. So then Powerwall got CellStar, basically. But 2019, so we are now going to ramp it up. And then PowerPack. So PowerPack is kind of like our industrial strength battery storage system. We did the biggest battery storage system in the world in Australia. And yeah, that was really super cool. And then we're doing one that's roughly a gigawatt hour scale in California. So just in Southern California, right nearby, we're building a gigawatt hour scale PowerPack. And so we expect this to ultimately be really critical for transitioning the world to sustainable energy. Obviously, you have to have sustainable energy production and sustainable energy consumption. So the sustainable energy production need the solar panels plus the battery because the sun doesn't shine at night, and then those electric cars, electric vehicles in general. Yeah. So But I mean, the really exciting thing is if you have, with solar plus battery plus electric vehicles, we have a fully sustainable future. This is a future you can feel really excited and optimistic about. I think it really matters. Yeah. And then supercharging. So, you know, the first, in 2010, we had 0 superchargers. So there was no, you couldn't really drive long distances with an electric car in 2010. So it was like, well, okay, we better have some high power chargers, otherwise it's going to be extremely inconvenient to drive long distances. So built into the Model S was a high voltage DC bypass directly to the pack, so you can just sort of mainline power right into the pack. And then nobody was building high power chargers, so like, okay, we better build these high power chargers because nobody's building them. And so we went from 0 superchargers to building a global network of superchargers. Yeah. Yeah, so it's pretty nutty. Each one of those is a supercharging site. So supercharging team Tesla did an incredible job building a global network of superchargers that allow you to travel to a massive section of the world, basically anywhere in North America, almost anywhere in Europe, most places in China, not the Gobi Desert yet, but most places. We'll cover the Gobi Desert. We'll get there. And Saskatchewan, I swear to God, there is. I've specifically asked about the Saskatchewan supercharger, and I'm told it is under construction. So, absolutely, I've asked about it like twice. I'm told it's going to be completed soon, and then you will actually be able to drive across Canada. So yes, Hawaii. Kazakhstan. Actually, we have like some great supporters in Kazakhstan. I think we probably we should have. We will build superchargers in Kazakhstan. There you heard it right here. Anyway, we're going to build a lot more superchargers, and we have actually a version 3 of the supercharger that we just unveiled. And in fact, yeah. So the superchargers actually started out only at about 75 kilowatts, and now they're at, with version 3, 250 kilowatts, and we think probably can even go a little higher than that. And so if you've got a long-range Model 3, it's capable of charging at about 1,000 miles an hour or 1,600 kilometers an hour. Yeah. So, and we have one working in the Bay Area, and then the one here at the design studio is also working as of tonight. So, yeah. So we're going to be rolling out the version 3 supercharger throughout the world, just gradually upgrading the existing sites as well as adding new sites. So we did slow down the supercharger rollout a little bit because we wanted them to be version 3 instead of version 2. But now that we have version 3 running, and we're going to spool up production, and so you're going to have like a radical improvement in supercharging worldwide by sometime next year. Yeah. So in terms of where we are today, we got obviously the S3 and the X. We've made, I think, 550,000 vehicles, something like that. 12 months from now, we will have made about 1 million vehicles. So it's pretty wild to think that 11 years ago today, we had made literally 1 car, and a year from now, we will have made 1 million. Yeah. I mean, this is a testament to the incredible talent and effort of the people at Tesla. I was to say thank you to people at Tesla. You guys are incredible. So, yeah, and 4 million tons of CO2 saved. In fact, with the 4 millionth ton, it just ticked over like like an hour ago. So the 4 millionth time just ticked over tonight. Yeah. So, just talking a bit about what were the thoughts back then? What were some of the comments? Let's see. The internet is forever. But this is a mere taste. It was like I said, electric cars were considered extremely impossible and stupid, and in various forms. You're a fraud. Bah. Like, okay, you can drive that fraud. Okay, and then now things have changed. Yeah. The goal of Tesla was literally this: is like, to what degree? In fact, when we created it, we're like, okay, the fundamental historic good of Tesla should be measured by the degree to which we accelerate the advent of sustainable energy and transport. And our goal all along has been to try to get the rest of the car industry to go electric. We did a joint venture thing with Toyota and with Mercedes. We open sourced our patents 3 or 4 years ago. Made them freely available, so it's extremely rewarding to see that the rest of the industry is going electric. This is great. So, and I was just wondering, like, where will Tesla be in 10 years? You know. Mars. Exactly. We will be driving a Tesla on Mars. I think we could. I think we actually could. Okay. Tesla will be on Mars in 10 years. I think it will. So after that extended history lesson, what about the actual reason you came? Okay. There's a missing car. It starts with a Y, ends with a Y, and that's Y in the middle. Bring out the Model Y. All right. The Model Y. Yeah. So, like the 3, it will be extremely safe. So that you may know the Model 3 has the lowest probability of injury of any car ever tested by the U.S. government. The Model Y, we expect, will have a similar result. 5 stars in every category. With the battery pack low in the floor, it's going to have a very low center of gravity. So this will, it has the functionality of an SUV, but it will ride like a sports car. So this thing will be really tight in corners. And we expect it will be the safest mid-sized SUV in the world by far. And at Tesla, we actually always design with safety as the #1 goal. It's like people think, okay, performance, sure, but safety first. This is actually by far the most important thing. But it's also going to have incredible performance. So we expect to have a 3.5 seconds 0 to 60. Yeah, it's good. And very low center of gravity, so great handling. It's testing out at a 0.23 drag coefficient, which is extremely good for an SUV. And in terms of range, 300 miles. Yeah. So we expect to have an EPA range of, an actual true usable range of 300 miles. So, yeah. Yeah. From an interior standpoint, it has a panoramic glass roof. And by the way, after I'm done here, you guys will be able to come up and check out the car. So it's so it's going to have a panoramic glass roof. It really feels like, just like the Model 3, if you're in the car, it just feels like you can see the sky. Seat 7, 66 cubic feet. Obviously autopilot and all that. As I've said publicly, we expect to be feature complete with self-driving sometime later this year. And then as we prove out the safety with billions of miles and kilometers, we will, from our standpoint, feel it's safe enough to not pay attention and then get the regulatory approval sometime thereafter. But the cool thing is feature complete. It'll be able to do basically anything by the end of this year. Just with software upgrades, which is pretty cool. So the basically long range one we expect to be about $47,000, and then sometime in 2021 we'll have the sort of standard version, which will have a $39,000 price point. So yeah. No, the 7 seats are optional. Yeah. Do you mean the lift gate? Yes. Okay. I mean, you never know. We might do better than this, but so it should be at least as good. So, so I think it's going to be really compelling. I'm confident that it'll be of any mid-size SUV, it'll be the one you want. Yeah, I think it'll probably sell. I think we'll probably do more Model Ys than S, X, and 3 combined, most likely. Yeah. So, so there you have the sexy presentation. So, all right. Thank you all for coming. Those of you who are here and those of you who are watching, thank you very much for your support over the years. It's been a hell of a ride. I love you too. I love you too. We are bringing sexy back quite literally. All right, thank you.